This is a rock planting, planting in a rock. It belonged to one of my customers. He purchased this from me maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago, and he was doing really good. But another one of these, when you go on vacation and you ask somebody to take care of it, this is the kind of thing that could happen. One of the fundamental problems of rock planting is it's easy to put in, or fairly easy to put in, but very difficult to take out. And you can see that this thing is in there really good, and you can use chopsticks, you could use knives and things like that, but it's very difficult to get out, especially when it's been in for a long time. A 4-inch, commonly called a starter for this size, but it's also had training for the last 2 to 3 years, so that it's not raw material. Raw material, a true starter would look like this in a container with some girth, but this has the movement already in it, and then all I have to do is cut, and then it's set to go. Now, I grow my material in all different sizes. This is probably one of the smallest. This is a 4-inch square pot. And without something like this, we could never get it to fit in here. Your typical 1 gallon will be so large that by the time we cut that much root to make it fit in here, the chance of stress or even death is greatly increased. Versus something like this, where we're just going to kind of squish the root without taking any of the root off and put it in here with fresh soil. So what I'm going to do is take this root ball and kind of squish it. Easier to maintain, but it's not a big pocket. So I'm going to take with the roots squished, that's all there was. Now I'm just going to sort of tidy up. There's some extra roots that floating. So what I'll do now is to do my typical, add time release fertilizer, and I'll moss this thing. Okay, more or less finished with the moss. So I would say this is ready to go back to the owner. Let me talk to you a little bit about the difficulty of growing things in rock. What happens is that, one, the pocket is smaller than your typical pot. And also, especially this lava rock is very porous. It has a tendency to pull moisture away, versus a typical ceramic pot does not have the tendency to pull extra moisture away, versus the rocks can. And so what I'm thinking is, normally I suggest that you put this in a shallow tray with water in it. That will increase the humidity and cut down a little bit on the water loss from the rock pulling the moisture away. What I might suggest for Bill, if he's going to go on vacation again, and for you too, if you're going to have a rock planting and you're going to go away with uncertain help, we should probably put this in fairly deep water, but not so deep that this root ball is sitting in water. That would kill it eventually because of overwatering. But if we could get, let's say this one here, we could probably get half of the rock in water. It'll still drain the top part, but it will keep the rock from pulling extra moisture away from the root ball area. You may never consider doing this if you're home most of the time and you're taking care of it and you don't have any problem. But if you're going to go away for extended time, having somebody without the proper background or a lot of times care, then perhaps you could use this technique to get past this period where you may have some difficulty. I'm trying to show you as many different techniques as possible, but keep in mind this is not a good way to present. One of the beauties of the bonsai is how it's presented. So just think of this as a technique you could use when you have an emergency.